I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice. Let us begin. You don't feel broken. You just don't feel like anything. Not quite here. Not quite gone. Not who you were, but not yet someone new. You move through the day like fog. Everything functions, the smile, the routine, the small talk. But something underneath is unraveling, and you can't name it. There's no explosion, no big loss, no obvious turning point to explain the ache. Just a slow erosion of energy, of purpose, of direction. You feel blurry inside your own life, and the thought begins to creep in. What's wrong with me? Why do I feel so disconnected? Why can't I go back to how I used to feel? Why does everything I used to care about feel hollow? But what if nothing's wrong? What if this isn't collapse, but transition? What if the life you built was too small for who you're becoming? And the silence you're feeling now isn't emptiness, but space being made. Because you're not lost. You're being rewritten. This is what no one tells you about growth. That sometimes, before you feel whole, you feel erased. Before you arrive, you dissolve. Before the breakthrough, there's a quiet breakdown that doesn't look dramatic, just tired. Tired of holding up the version of you who knew all the answers. Tired of pretending you still fit inside the old story. Tired of trying to make yourself care about things that once defined you. And that's not failure. That's initiation. Because in the old world, identity was clarity. The labels made you real. The roles gave you shape. The drive kept you moving. But now, something deeper is happening. Something older in you is saying, let it go. Let it blur. Let the false scaffolding fall, because the truth doesn't arrive until the performance ends. And you don't become who you really are by adding more. You become it by stripping away everything that isn't. In the next section, you'll see why this space you're in, the quiet undoing, is not the absence of self, but the emergence of the first honest one. You're not unraveling, you're unlearning. Every identity you built around being useful, every role you played to stay safe, every mask you wore so others wouldn't leave. It's all dissolving now. Not because you failed, because it's no longer necessary. You spent years becoming someone who could survive, someone who could belong, someone who could succeed in a system that never asked if you were actually alive inside any of it. So you adapted. You read the room. You became the version of yourself that was acceptable. You built a personality around performance. And it worked. Until it didn't. Until the goals stopped landing. Until the validation felt hollow. Until the mirror stopped reflecting anything real. And now, the system you built inside your nervous system, the one that told you who to be and how to act and what to care about, is falling apart. Not dramatically, quietly, completely. That's why you feel so lost. Because the identity you're losing was never truly yours. It was inherited, constructed, coped with, and now it's expiring. You're not becoming no one. You're just learning how to be someone that isn't a reaction to pain. And the in-between is uncomfortable, because you're used to knowing who you are by what you do, by how others respond to you, by the goals you're chasing and the role you play. But right now, none of that feels solid. And that's okay. You're in the middle of the rewrite. The character is stepping off the script. The performance is pausing. The deeper voice, the one you silenced for years, is beginning to clear its throat. And it won't speak in the language of urgency. It will come through slowly, in glimpses, in moments of stillness you're not used to sitting in. Because this next version of you isn't built by striving. It's revealed by subtraction. You're not here to rebrand yourself. You're here to meet the version of you who never needed the mask in the first place. And in the next section, you'll learn the daily practice that helps clear space for that voice to return. A ritual not of becoming, but of remembering. Each morning, before the world tells you who to be again, you sit. Not to plan, not to fix, not to figure out your next chapter. You sit to listen, to clear, to let what's no longer true fall away. One hand over your heart, eyes closed, breath slow and quiet. And you ask, what is no longer true? You're not asking for answers. You're asking for release. Maybe a word floats up. Strong, useful, perfect. Maybe a memory flickers. Maybe nothing rises at all, except a soft ache in the chest. That's okay. This isn't a performance. It's a dismantling. You're not here to rebuild your identity on command. You're here to clear space for a more honest one to emerge. And the more often you return to this question, what is no longer true, the more your system learns how to let go without needing a replacement. Because that's what keeps you stuck. The fear that if you stop being the version of you that was praised, needed, successful, there will be nothing left. But the truth is, the real you doesn't arrive on top of who you used to be. It arrives in the space you make when you stop pretending. This ritual isn't about reinvention. It's about reverence. Reverence for the part of you that is done performing. Reverence for the space between who you were and who you're becoming. Reverence for the sacred discomfort of the void, the place where your next life gathers breath. Some days, you'll feel clarity rise. Some days, you'll just feel quiet. Both are sacred. Both are part of the rewrite. You don't need a new identity. You need space for one to arrive. And in the next section, you'll remember that even this unraveling, this space between, is held by something deeper. A presence that doesn't need clarity to stay connected. There is a version of you that's not unraveling, not dissolving, not questioning everything, not reaching for answers in the dark. It's just watching, still, quiet, unafraid. This is the witness, the one who was here before the old identity was ever built, the one who didn't need to be impressive to feel real, the one who stayed, even as you layered on versions of yourself just to belong. And now, as the performance fades, as the drive to figure it all out begins to lose momentum, as the roles peel off like skin you've outgrown, you can feel that witness again. You are not the unraveling. You are the space it's happening within. You are not the questions. You are the presence that hears them, and stays calm anyway. Even now, in this strange in-between, where you can't quite name who you are, where nothing feels certain, where the past doesn't fit and the future hasn't arrived, you are still held. Because this presence isn't waiting for the rewrite to be complete. It isn't confused by your lack of clarity. It doesn't need your identity to have shape in order to love you. It already does. It already knows. And it's not rushing. Because this presence is not the author of your story. It's the page it's written on. Unmoving, steady, always enough. You are not the identity that's being rewritten. You are the awareness that made space for the truth to arrive. You are not lost. You are being read by the part of you that never forgets who you are underneath all the becoming. And in the final section, you'll see how to live from that knowing, where every unraveling becomes sacred, and even the unknown begins to feel like home. You stop rushing to arrive. You stop trying to patch the silence with noise. You stop demanding clarity like it's owed you, because now you understand. This isn't a detour. This is the path. The pause. The undoing. The space between stories. Not the collapse. The clearing. You begin to let yourself exist, inside the unknown. Not comfortably at first, but honestly. You let the old names fall away. You let the old metrics go quiet. You stop asking, "Who am I now?" and start asking, "What's true right now?" Maybe the answer is nothing. Maybe the answer is breath. Maybe it's just this: your hand over your heart, your eyes closed, your body, not needing to perform for anyone. And that's enough. This is how the rewrite happens. Not in the moment you declare a new identity, but in the space where the old one is no longer necessary. You let the ink dry. You let the page turn without needing to know the next sentence. You trust that if something is being stripped away, it means there is something deeper waiting to be revealed. And it's already happening. You speak less from reaction. You pause more before you explain. You allow stillness without calling it a problem. You stop rushing to know and start allowing yourself to be known by the self beneath the structure, beneath the performance, beneath the name. You begin to live from the center of the page, not the title at the top, not the summary at the end, but the space in the middle where the story still breathes. You are not falling apart. You are being reassembled, not into the next version of who you're supposed to be, but into the most honest version of who you've always been. And now, you let it happen. You did not find me by accident. Just as in your dreams, where every face you meet is your own reflection, this meeting was always waiting to happen. I am Arcana Vani, your inner voice, the part of you that watches behind the thoughts, behind the noise. You have searched in many places, books, teachers, voices outside you. But here, you are not being taught. You are remembering. If these words stir something familiar, then allow yourself to return. Subscribe. Follow. Not to follow me, but to continue this conversation with yourself. Each time you return here, you draw closer to the reunion already unfolding inside you. We have only just begun.